back with me, Lisa Rubin and Tristan Snell. Let's talk about the banker. His name is Mr. Farrow, Gary Farrow. What did we hear from him today?
Gary Farrow gave a lot of fairly dry testimony at the beginning because
he's a banker.
He's a banker, and they were using him in the same way that they used Rona Graff to authenticate some documents that will be crucial when they thread together the story in their closing argument several weeks from now. But Gary Farrow was Michael Cohen's banker at First Republic Bank, which is a private bank that primarily caters to high net worth individuals. He testified that he had been assigned to Michael Cohen's accounts because Michael Cohen had a banker who left the bank, and someone decided Gary Farrow should service him because Gary Farrow was A, knowledgeable, but B, more importantly, dealt with challenging people very well. That said, Gary Farrow said that he didn't find Michael Cohen challenging, but that when he wanted something immediately, he was very clear to say, this is urgent. And then the prosecutors went with Gary Farrow through a series of emails through which Michael Cohen says, I have an LLC. I need to set up an LLC account immediately. He had already had several accounts at that bank. What they are going to use Gary Farrow to do is establish that through the account that Michael Cohen sets up, on the basis of misrepresentations about what his LLC did. He said it was a management consulting firm that did HR and other things in the real estate industry. It did not.
Yeah.
But they're going to use him to show that that's how Keith Davidson, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, got the $130,000 payment that Cohen made on Trump's behalf. And then through that repayment scheme that the prosecutors are going to get to, then covered up how Cohen was being repaid, paid him some extra money to sort of gross him up for tax purposes and the like. The one thing I think is really interesting about Gary Farrow, Joy, is that past reporting shows that somebody at First Republic Bank flagged the wire transfer to Keith Davidson as suspicious activity to the Treasury Department. We don't know who at the bank did it. The bank is now defunct. If it turns out to be Gary Farrow, he's going to be a whole lot more important than just a person who authenticates documents.
So you wrote the 12 rules, Tristan. I mean, what they're doing here, is they're telling a story, right? I mean, we've now understood that you had David Pecker, who we've established pays off the first two potential bombshell stories to get rid of them. Then he says, I'm not paying anymore. I'm not giving any more money. But Michael Cohen is still saying, you got to pay this third one because now we've got this Access Hollywood problem, this third one, the porn star, we got to pay it. And he's like, nope. So Michael's got to figure out how to do it himself. Right. So he sets up an LLC and he sets up some not true things and then he pays. Is that a smart way to do this? And do you think that they're establishing that as a story that can actually win a case?
Yeah, I think they're putting all of this together. We're seeing the bricks get put together. You've got to be very thorough with all of these things, but then you do have to tell a story. It can't just be, I think this Farrow thing is going to be, if it isn't from him that we're going to get some interesting revelations, at the very least, it's going to establish the predicate on which they build other things through documents. But you got to be able to build that whole story. Pecker did a great job of both. They were able to use him very effectively to say, look, we're going to begin at the beginning of this chronology to help it be a structured story and narrative with a beginning, a middle, and an end that everybody can understand. Everybody likes to think in sort of a chronological beginning, middle, end story, if they can, right? And you got to be able to do this to communicate effectively. It's a big part of how you take a giant mess of documents and witnesses and turn it into something that's actually going to get the result that you want in the litigation. Yeah. And I think that they did a good job of setting that up. And I think that this is all leading up to probably Michael Cohen being one of the last witnesses, if not the very last witness. The very last witness. If I were them, I would close with Cohen.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. And I think that's what they're really... Let me very quickly... Do we have time? Can we play this Trump soundbite? Play it real quick.
I thought it would be a terrible thing. And there were opportunities, obviously, and good, strong control. Everything was good, but I did not want to. And I thought it would be a terrible thing for our country. They don't care. These people are radical lunatics. They don't care. And they have to be very careful with what they're doing because it comes back to bite.
Now, I'm not sure, Lisa, if he was talking about the people in this courtroom, but he's supposed to be under a gag order somewhat. Yes. He seems like he's violating it every day. I don't know if this thing about not putting Hillary Clinton in jail does it, but do you expect to hear something on this gag order next week? I mean,
I do.
Soon?
I mean, we have a third alleged set of violations. Juan Merchan, the judge here, has already held a hearing on the first two sets, which together comprise 10 alleged violations. There are now 4 more. The most recent of them, Joy, I think comes the closest to witness intimidation, if not outright tampering. Because he's asked, you know, what do you think of Pecker's testimony so far? And I'm reading to you from the transcript. He says he has been very nice. I mean, Dave has been very nice, a nice guy. In about 5 minutes or less, David Pecker is going to walk into this room to continue testifying. And the way that the prosecutors characterize this, it sounds really benevolent, right? David Pecker's a nice guy. He's been my friend for decades. But he says this is a message to Pecker, not you have been nice, but be nice. Yeah. It's a message to others. Yeah. But again, you know, we'll see what happens.
Mob stuff. It's mob stuff.
I've got my carrot. I've got my stick.
There you go.
In this case, it was the carrot. But like, there's sort of an implied, if you're not very nice.
You're not nice, what happens to you? Tristan Snell, Lisa Rubin, thank you all very much.